All right, thank you. Let's call the Board of Adjustment to order. We can take a look at the agenda and the minutes. Any changes to the agenda? And then any approval for the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the agenda and minutes as written.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Meeting minutes. Moving on to new business. Ms. Maxwell and team.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We are going to get started with file number 2006-13V, a variance request from property owners Charles and Carol Graves. This is a variance request for relief from Cook County Zoning Ordinance number 37, sections 7.05 and 9.02 to allow for the tear down and rebuild of a non-conforming boathouse at an increased square footage and height located 6 feet from Devil Track Lake shoreline, where the required setback is 100 feet from the ordinary high water line, with no further encroachment into the shoreline setback at 15 North Star Trail. And a couple of things about the property. The property size is 2.8 acres with approximately 150 feet of shoreline along Devil Track Lake. The zoning is roughly 1.1 acres of the property in the Lakeshore Residential or LSR zone, and the remainder of the parcel zoned Forest Agriculture Residential or FAR 3, and all of the development on the property is located in the LSR zone. Newly created lots within the LSR zone must be 1 acre in size and 150 feet wide at the structural setback. Newly created lots within the FAR 3 zone district must be 5 acres in size and 200 feet wide at the structural setback. For shoreline classification, Devil Track Lake is classified as a recreational development lake. And this project includes the application is to tear down a legal non-conforming boathouse on Devil Track Lake and replace it with modified dimensions. Oh, we went too far. And on the screen you see photos of the current boathouse, one viewed from standing on the dock that is out on Devil Track Lake. So from the north side of the boathouse, the other one is viewed from the south side. And in your packet, you have those zoning ordinance citations noting that for recreational development lakes, there is that 100-foot setback requirement from ordinary high water line. And there is also a definition within the Cook County Zoning Ordinance of a water-oriented accessory structure or facility. And these, something to note, are not, they're not permitted on water, the zoning ordinance does not permit water-oriented structures as a permitted use. However, this structure was placed prior to the current zoning regulations, so it is a legal nonconformity. The date of the build of this boathouse was in the 1950s. So going into a little bit of background on this property. Property currently has a house, a detached garage, a shed, and the mentioned boathouse. County records indicate that the boathouse was built in 1955, which was before the adoption of the Cook County Zoning Ordinance. The other buildings were all constructed after the adoption of the ordinance, and they do meet all of the setbacks for the LSR zone district. The boathouse is located approximately 6 feet from the Devil Track Lake ordinary high water line and is placed parallel to that shoreline. The structure is placed on cinder block footings. The applicants propose replacing the existing structure with a new boathouse at an increased square footage and height. The proposed replacement boathouse would change the shape of the roof line from an angled shed roof to a pitched roof, which you can see in those plans that are both in your packet and up on the screen. This would increase the height at the highest point of the roof from 5 feet 9 inches from the floor joist to 7 feet 6 inches. The applicants have also expressed their wish to revise the originally submitted plan to reflect that both the north and south walls would be increased to a height of 6 feet 6 inches, evening out the pitch of that proposed roof, but it wouldn't add any additional height to the overall structure. And up on the screen are also the citations for the other parts of the zoning ordinance, including non-conforming structures, that they have the right to be repaired, replaced, improved, but not have their size expanded. So that is the reason for this particular ordinance, or this particular variance, asking for an exception to that portion of the ordinance. A couple other notes on the proposed plan. The width expansion that the applicants are proposing is modest. It's about 4 inches, and the plans maintain the current 5-inch eaves. So that's where, if you look at that, the sketch that was submitted, the original, that measurement along the bottom of 6 feet 2 inches doesn't include the eaves measurement on there, but on a site visit, I confirmed that there is that overhang, which is why that 7 foot 4 inches reflects the full width of the building, including the eaves, but the actual change in size to the footprint of the building as it reaches the ground is only the 4 inches. So that some little context, if that was a discrepancy you may have noted. The applicants also plan to maintain the current placement of 6 feet from the ordinary high water level, with the additional width extending the footprint to the south side of the building. So again, we're moving towards the inland side of that building for that small expansion. And for site conditions, the property is served by a septic system which was deemed in compliance as of 2021 after the most recent inspection. The proposed boathouse will not have any pressurized plumbing. For impervious surface coverage, the parcel will need to be covered by less than 30,492 square feet to remain in compliance. The proposed expansion will not significantly alter the current roughly 8,400 square feet of impervious surface. So we are not concerned that this will mean that impervious surface coverage requirement could not be met. For wetlands are not an issue driving the need for this variance, and the slope of the property is relatively flat. Slope is not an issue for this particular variance. Shoreline health, the applicants propose to use an existing historical building site with a small change in footprint, minimizing the amount of disturbance to the shoreline area. They've indicated an intention not to remove the mature living trees in the area. And I will also call your attention to the letter that you should have in front of you in hard copy, but that was added to the agenda earlier today from Cook County Soil and Water Conservation District. And that letter, again, not initially included in your agenda, but Conservation Technician Max Toskinson provided some information about the declining water quality in Devil Track Lake and the importance of maintaining natural shorelines as a way to slow that decline and prevent any further damage to the lake. For public, and here's the graph that he included in that letter, addressing the declining water quality. For public noticing, the application was legally noticed in the Cook County News Herald on July 24th, 2026, and 11 letters of notification were sent to adjacent property owners as well as Cook County departments and Minnesota DNR hydrologists. No written comments were received from any adjoining property owners during the written comment period, and only that letter from Cook County Soil and Water Conservation District, which you have in front of you, was submitted from any agencies or county departments. So we can go through some of the considerations for facts and findings. A few I want to highlight for you. In this first section, the variance is consistent with the goals and policies of the Comprehensive Land Use Guide Plan and in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the Cook County Zoning Ordinance and other Cook County official controls. And the Cook County Zoning Ordinance 37, Section 7.05 requires a setback of 100 feet from recreational development lakes. The applicant is looking to replace an existing structure with no further encroachment towards Devil Track Lake. And number 2 on this slide, and in your packets, Cook County Land Use Guide Plan, general use goal is to have an inventory of land suitable and appropriately located for the anticipated types of land uses compatible with natural resources and proximity to existing infrastructure, and to protect non-compatible land uses from one another. Policy number 13 is redevelopment of already developed lands is generally preferred over the development of undeveloped land. So again, this is using a historic site that is already currently being used as the site of a boathouse. And number 3 on this slide as well, Cook County Land Use Guide Plan, natural features and environmental concerns goal to maintain and enhance the quality of natural resources and native ecosystems within the county. Policy number 16, evaluate and minimize adverse impacts on air quality, surface and groundwaters, wildlife habitat, ecological systems, and other natural features through land use decisions. And again, I'll call your attention to not only the letter from Cook County Soil and Water, but also the intention that the property owners have expressed to, that they are not planning to alter what is the natural shoreline at this time. A couple of other considerations for you. The proposed use of the property is allowed in the land use district in which the property is located, and the parcel is zoned lakeshore residential, and the residential uses are permitted in this zone district. There's not a change of use in this variance request. And the property owner is proposing to use the property in a reasonable manner not permitted by the Cook County Zoning Ordinance. The property owner does not propose to use the property, or does propose to use the property in a reasonable manner given the purpose of the shoreline setback standards, because the landowner has requested a modest expansion of square footage in their proposed replacement and a modest increase in height to improve the functionality of the structure. The property owner also intends to maintain the use of the structure as a boathouse and not intensify the use. And the property owner has established that the practical difficulty involved is due to circumstances unique to the property and not created by the property owner. The proposed structure predates, well, the proposed structure would replace a structure that predates the zoning ordinance and is a legal nonconformity. The structure cannot expand without any type of variance. And approving the variance will maintain the essential character of the locality. A couple of things to consider. The area is zoned lakeshore residential, consisting of conforming and non-conforming lots, and the southeast shore of Devil Track Lake has been developed with many structures close to the lake. Many of those properties have docks, and boating is a common activity on the lake, and replacing an existing boathouse will not significantly alter the use of the property and the character of the area. And then, as always, to check in on the economic considerations. The economic considerations in this case are not the reason for that variance request. So a few staff recommendations for consideration. The request seeks relief to allow a tear down and rebuild with modifications to allow increased functionality and use of the legal non-conforming water-oriented accessory structure. The applicants appear to have proposed modifications which increase functionality while maintaining the character and setback of the proposed structure. The board may want to discuss the increased length of the structure and the additional frontage as viewed from the lake, as if it is deemed reasonable. And if approved, the following conditions may be attached to this variance request. Number 1, the property shall conform to Minnesota Rule 7080 and the Cook County septic requirements. Number 2, no component of proposed construction may be closer than 6 feet from the ordinary high water level of Devil Track Lake. Number 3, the structure is approved solely as an accessory storage building. Any intensification of use, including but not limited to its use as a bunkhouse or guest cabin, shall require an amendment to this variance approval. No sleeping quarters shall be permitted within the structure. Number 4, where practicable, a gutter or catchment system or vegetation conducive to water retention shall be included in the new boathouse to divert precipitation and snowmelt away from Devil Track Lake. And finally, number 5, the land use permit shall authorize a structure of the dimensions and use proposed in the variance application and approved by the Board of Adjustment on October 12th, today. And that's all I have for you.
Thank you. We'll open now for public comment. Do we have the applicant or? So is the applicant present? Yeah. Are you the applicant? Do you have any comments you'd like to offer?
gonna have to yell at him because he can't hear.
I was picking up on
Just got
that.
some new hearing aids and one of them's already failed.
Please state your name and address for the record.
I'm sorry?
Please state your name and address for the record.
Your name and address.
Chuck Graves, 5227 Jerome Avenue, Court North in Lake Elmo.
Thank you. And do you have any comments that you'd like to offer with respect to the staff's presentation?
I thought the summary was very good. You saw pictures of the existing boathouse.
Right.
It's been there for 71 years. It's showing its age.
Yep.
It's going to become an eyesore very quickly, and it's going to be unsafe. We want to replace it. We intend to store a couple of kayaks, canoe, life preservers, cushions, maybe a couple of fishing rods and a tackle box, but that's it.
Okay. All right, thank you for that. Anything else? No? No. All right, thank you. We'll, any other people present for public comment on this variance? All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment and we'll discuss amongst the board. Comments, review?
If my math is correct, this is an addition of 4 square feet of impervious cover to the property, which, from a water quality perspective on a 2.8 acre lot there's probably about 8 or 9 decimal places in the percentage increase. So from that perspective, although I would propose that maybe, because it's small enough, that the owner could consider maybe a rain barrel or something on this and totally eliminate additional discharge to the lake itself, but that's up to them. But yeah, I don't, given the discussion of staff, I don't see an issue with it.
Oh, yeah. Very-
Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to deal with the cyanobacteria by denying this variance, so
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with it.
Yes, I agree.
All
Seems
right.
pretty minimal. It's probably worse to have what's sitting there running into the lake runoff than.
Yeah.
Any comments on staff recommendations or findings?
Looks good to me.
I thought it was pretty good.
Likewise, do we need to reiterate all those for the motion, or can we just say with,
We can accept,
accept the
we've done
the
before.
staff's
accept staff
consideration of?
Considerations, facts, and
Okay.
findings, and their recommendations.
So, Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve this variance with the staff considerations and the conditions listed by staff to be included.
All right, do you have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Variance approved. I should say.
We'll send you a letter as a follow-up.
There's the percent.
Well, I just, you know,
Just don't let anyone sleep in that boat.
remember we're live.
Can't sleep in a kayak. It's got to be in the water if you're going to sleep in it.
Thank you. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, please.
All right, next on the agenda is file number 2026-14V, a variance request from property owner Laurel Wilson and agent Keith Bergeron. This is a variance request for relief from Cook County Zoning Ordinance number 37, sections 4.07 and 9.02 to allow for the addition of an entryway to an existing non-conforming house at a reduced county road setback from the center line in a FAR 3 zone at 837 County Road 6. The property size is 5 acres. The property is zoned entirely forest, agriculture, residential, or FAR 3. Newly created lots within the FAR 3 zone must be 5 acres in size and 200 feet wide at the structural setback, and there is no shoreland classification for this. This is not a shoreland property. The applicants propose replacing an existing front deck with an enclosed entryway accessed by stairs and a landing. The closest point of the addition would fall 67 feet from the center line of County Road 6, which has an 85-foot required setback in the FAR 3 zone. And here you see a photo of the house from kind of I did my best to get to the middle of County Road 60. So that is a view of the house from County Road 60, and you also see a sketch of the proposed entryway. And in your packets, you have that ordinance citation regarding FAR 3 setback distances. For some background, the property currently has a dwelling, shed, and hoop house. The dwelling is the only structure that falls within the road setback. County records indicate that the house was built pre-zoning and no variance files or land use permits are on record. The property is in a residential area. According to county records, the house was built in 1964 and has been maintained to an effective date of 2000. Applicants have owned the property since 2020 and use it as a year-round homestead residence. The current dwelling includes a multi-level wraparound deck, including stairs and a raised deck outside the front door on the south-facing front of the house. The applicants propose adding an 8 by 12 foot entryway to the front of the house. And again, you can see sketches up on the screen right now of that proposed entryway. The front door would be moved to the east wall of the proposed addition, and the stairs and associated landing would be moved to lead to that new front door location. The proposal to enter the house from the east side of the addition limits the encroachment into the road setback. The current house is 81 feet from the center line of the road at its closest point, and the current deck is 75 feet from the center line of the road at its closest point. The closest point of the proposed addition to the road center line is 67 feet. And you can see a site sketch up on the screen at this time too, showing that 67 feet from the proposed addition to that road center line. And then here's our ordinance citation, which should also be in your packet. We already went through our background. Here we have some photos, again, taken on site. In the photo on the right-hand side, those yellow markers on the ground show the footprint of the actual entryway. The green tape, which you can see a little bit more in the photo on the left-hand side, shows the proposed footprint. That would be the stairs and landing that the applicants propose to attach to the addition. For some site considerations, the property is served by a septic system, which was last inspected in 2019 and deemed in compliance with county requirements. For impervious surface coverage, the parcel will need to be covered by less than 163,350 square feet to remain in compliance. The current structures and driveway coverage is approximately 3,000 square feet. The applicant proposes adding about 54 square feet to the current footprint, and this indicates that impervious surface coverage requirements will be met. Wetlands are not an issue driving the need for this variance, and the property is relatively flat, meaning that slope is not an issue driving the need for this variance. For public noticing, the application was legally noticed in the Cook County News Herald on July 24th, 2026. 11 letters of notification were sent to adjacent property owners as well as county departments. No written comments were received from adjacent property owners during the written comment period, and the Cook County Highway Department clarified a couple of distances based on the sketches that were included in the packet they received. But after that clarification, Highway Engineer Robbie Haas said that he had no concerns about this project. And a few staff considerations and findings are in your packet. I'm not going to go through all of them because they are relatively straightforward. But again, this is not a change in the use of the property at all. It's simply adding that addition to the front that would not impact how the property is used. And again, the structure itself is a legal nonconformity. A few recommendations, well, actually really just one main recommendation. The request seeks relief to allow a modest expansion of an existing legal nonconforming residential structure to improve functionality. The proposal does not add bedrooms and is not expected to create a safety issue by being placed within the road setback. So if approved, the following condition may be attached to this variance request, and that's simply that the land use permit shall authorize the structure of the dimensions and use proposed in the variance application and approved by the Board of Adjustment today. And that's what we've got on this variance request.
All right, thank you. I'll open now for public comment. Are the applicants available? Please state your name and address for the record.
I'm Keith Bergeron, 837 County Road 6, and
Laurel Wilson, so 837 County Road 6.
All right, thank you.
the main reason we wanted to make this improvement was we have 2 kids under the age of 4. We have a split-level house, and we have a landing that, on the inside, that's roughly 4 by 4 feet, and stairs either direction. So when we get ready to leave the house, it's chaotic at best and dangerous at worst. And in the process of repairing a handrail that was a little flimsy on the exterior, the project just kind of grew and grew with finding rotten wood and poor footings, and all of a sudden we said, well, why would we rebuild something that isn't really fitting our needs? Why not improve it and make our home more livable?
All right, thank you. Anything in terms of staff presentation?
I thought it was great.
Yeah, thank you. All right, any additional comments?
No.
All right, thank you. Anyone else that wants to make public comment on this proposal? Thank you, then closing public comment. Board? Thoughts?
I think it's a pretty modest expansion, and with no concerns from the highway department, I'm quite
Big one
comfortable
for
with
me.
it.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Likewise.
Okay.
Likewise, yep.
Do we have a motion? Considering staff considerations and findings and their,
I'd make a motion to approve the variance with the staff's facts and findings and the one consideration or condition listed as written.
all right, thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. No opposed? Approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you will also receive a letter.
Okay. And let's move on to the last
you.
item.
Yeah, thank you, Mr.
How
Chair.
doing? Thank you.
Our last item is file number 2006-16V, another variance request from property owners Kim Feldkamp and Nicholas Jarlsberg. The request is for relief from Cook County Zoning Ordinance number 37, sections 7.05, 9.02A, and 9.03A to allow 2 single-story additions, a 14-foot by 5 feet 5-inch entryway, and an 11 by 12-foot screen porch to an existing legal non-conforming residential structure to be placed no closer than 42 feet from the ordinary high water level of Devil Track Lake, where a minimum setback of 100 feet is required for a recreational development classified lake within the shore impact zone on a substandard lot of record at 1472 Devil Track Road. I realize I should pulled it up for you. The property size, the applicant's property includes 0.76 acres with approximately 97 feet of Devil Track Lake shoreline. The parcel is contained almost entirely within the Lakeshore Residential Zone District. About 0.02 acres of the northeast corner of the parcel is in the Forest Agriculture Residential or FAR 3 Zone District. For zoning and lot size requirements, newly created lots within the LSR zone must be 1 acre in size and 150 feet wide at the structural setback. For shoreline classification, Devil Track Lake is classified as a recreational development lake. These are our our ordinance citations here, you see again, we have the 100-foot setback from the ordinary high water level for Devil Track Lake as a recreational development classified lake. And again, the ordinance requiring that legal nonconformities be allowed to be replaced, repaired, improved, but not expanded. Applicants propose building 2 additions to their existing dwelling. The first addition would create a new entryway measuring no more than 14 feet by 5 feet 5 inches on the north side of the house away from Devil Track Lake. The second addition would extend an existing deck by 11 feet by 12 feet. Applicants propose screening in the addition as well as a portion of the existing deck, creating a 15-foot by 12-foot screen porch. And here on the screen, there is a full site map on the left-hand side. The green boxes show the proposed additions. And then on the right-hand side, the floor plan of the house in kind of the plain white is the existing house. The rooms or rectangles that have that cross-hatching in them are the proposed additions. And we did conduct a site visit for this to confirm measurements and distance from the ordinary high water level. On the right-hand side, that lower right, you see a photo that shows that expanded deck space. There's a little orange flag in the lower right corner of the photo that marks where the corner of that deck expansion would be. And then on the right-hand side is an elevation drawing showing the screened-in portion of the deck. And again, that would encompass both the added portion of the deck and a portion of the existing deck. For some background, the parcel is a substandard lot of record. The dwelling on the property was constructed in 1954 and has an effective date in the 1980s. Applicants have owned the property since 2016 and currently live in it year-round. Development on the property includes the dwelling, a woodshed, 2 storage sheds, each under 100 square feet, and a shipping container. Applicants indicate the intention to build a garage on the northern end of the property outside of the lakeshore setback. The proposed entryway addition would extend the northernly most wall an additional 14 feet. Though not towards the north, it would be extending it. I realized I worded that maybe a little ambiguously, but looking at our site sketch, lengthening that northerly wall towards the west, 14 feet, enclosing the current entrance, which includes a small concrete slab, which there's a photo of in your packet. So you can see a couple of views of that proposed entryway, or the site for the proposed entryway. The dwelling also currently has a deck that measures 16 feet by 12 feet on the south side of the house facing Devil Track Lake. The applicants propose adding a deck extension of 11 feet by 12 feet, effectively squaring off the deck with the eastern wall of the house. The 12-foot depth of the proposed extension would maintain the current level of encroachment into the lake setback, but not increase it. The applicants plan to enclose the entirety of the deck addition plus a portion of the existing deck to create a 15-foot by 12-foot screen porch. The screen porch would include a roof, the pitch of which would follow the existing roof on the eastern half of the house. This would not change the overall height of the house. And for site conditions, in an effort to improve some of the health of the shoreline, which is kind of one of the main concerns on the site, the applicants have consulted with the Cook County Soil and Water Conservation District. They have stopped mowing the area between the house and the shoreline, allowing native plants to reestablish a shoreline buffer, and the property owners report additional plans to work with Cook County Soil and Water Conservation District to plant more native trees and plants on the property and along the shoreline to act as erosion control. Some additional site considerations. For septic, the property is served by a septic system which was deemed in compliance when it was last tested in 2023. The parcel will need to be covered by less than 8,276 square feet to remain in compliance. The existing development constitutes roughly 5,200 square feet of impervious surface, including the driveway and parking area. The new construction would add an additional 209 square feet of coverage. This indicates that impervious surface coverage requirements will be met. Again, wetlands are not the primary need for this variance, neither is slope, but again, the shoreline health is a concern, though it's not the need for the variance necessarily. The property owners, again, have begun shoreline restoration efforts working with Cook County Soil and Water Conservation District, and you also have before you a letter from Max Tostenson that details those efforts and some of the future plans that he currently has with the property owners. And on the screen, again, we see that same graph that was included earlier during this meeting as we were talking about Devil Track Lake and the potential of further water quality decline with development on Devil Track. And Max also included that in the letter that he submitted for your consideration. For public noticing, the application was legally noticed in the Cook County News Herald on July 24th, 2026. 10 letters of notification were sent to adjacent property owners as well as Cook County departments and the Minnesota DNR hydrologists. No written comments were received from adjoining property owners during the written comment period, and outside of the letter from the Cook County Soil and Water Conservation District that was added a little bit belatedly, there were no additional comments received by Land Services from county departments or other noticed organizations. So some staff considerations for facts and findings. I'll call your attention to several of them. First, the Cook County Zoning Ordinance 37, Section 7.05 requires a setback of 100 feet from recreational development lakes. The applicant is proposing a 42-foot setback from Devil Track Lake. Cook County Land Use Guide Plan general use goal is to have an inventory of land suitable and appropriately located for the anticipated types of land uses compatible with natural resources and proximity to existing infrastructure, and to protect non-compatible land uses from one another. And policy number 13 is redevelopment of already developed land is generally preferred over the development of undeveloped land. And the Cook County Land Use Guide Plan natural features and environmental concerns goal is to maintain and enhance the quality of natural resources and native ecosystems within the county. And policy 16 is to evaluate and minimize adverse impacts on air quality, surface and groundwaters, wildlife habitat, ecological systems, and other natural features through land use decisions. And a few of our other facts and findings: the proposed use of the property is allowed in the land use district in which the property is located, though the lot is a substandard lot of record, but residential uses are permitted in its zone district. The property owner is also proposing to, or does propose to use the property in a reasonable manner given the purpose of the shoreline setback standards. And the property owner has established that the practical difficulty involved is due to circumstances unique to the property and not created by the property owner. Namely, a lot of substandard record was created by a plat approved in 1989, and the dwelling on the parcel predates the zoning ordinance. The proposed deck addition will not encroach further into the lake setback than the existing deck, and the entrance addition is on the side of the house facing away from the lake. Right. And approving the variance maintains the essential character of the locality. A few things to note: the area is zoned lakeshore residential consisting of conforming and other non-conforming lots and structures. Many other properties on Devil Track Lake include structures built within the lake setback. Property owners have worked to restore a vegetative buffer along the lakeshore in an effort to both improve the health of the shore ecosystem and to minimize visibility from the lake. Applicants have painted the existing dwelling even a darker color to lessen visibility from the lake, and neither addition will significantly impact visibility of the structure from the lake. And the property owner has established that the practical difficulty involves more than economic considerations. So some staff recommendations: the property owners have already made efforts to improve the shoreline on their parcel. With the Soil and Water Conservation District's continued technical assistance, the shoreline will continue to improve. The proposed additions do not increase the height or viewing width of the structure from the lake, and there are no locations on this structure to place an addition at a conforming location. The proposed locations will allow greater functionality for the property owner while also minimizing the impact to the lake and public. And if approved, the following conditions may be attached to this variance request. Number one, the property shall conform to Minnesota Rule 7080 and Cook County septic requirements. Two, a shoreline buffer is established and maintained at a minimum 10 feet wide along the shoreline with a mix of native forbs, shrubs, and trees per an approved Cook County Soil and Water Conservation District plan in perpetuity. Three, no component of proposed construction may be closer than 42 feet from the ordinary high water level of Devil Track Lake. The land use permit shall authorize a structure of the dimensions and use proposed in the variance application and approved by the Board of Adjustment today on August 12, 2026. Number four, a gutter or catchment system or vegetation conducive to water retention shall be included on all new or proposed structures to divert precipitation and snow melt away from Devil Track Lake. And five, the screen porch will not be further enclosed with solid walls to be used as an indoor living space. And that's what we've got for this application.
Thank you. Do we have opening for public comment? Any applicants are present? Please state your name and address for the record.
Nick Jarlsberg, 1472 Devil Track Road.
Kim Feldkamp, 1472 Devil Track Road.
Thank you. Do you have anything you'd like to add to what the staff presented?
I think, I did all the drawings, and I think one of my drawings was a little misleading. The proposed dimensions for the entrance at the front of the house, it says 14 by 5.5. The exterior dimension is actually 6 feet. So I just wanted to clarify that. It does show on the drawing, but it's a little bit misleading. Basically, we're just proposing to bump out the front to the existing sort of bump out on the house.
It does look like you were in a square to the wall.
Yeah, like squared off the wall,
Yeah.
exactly. And the purpose for that is simply our cabin is 672 square feet. There is no entryway. So there's no place to drop boots or jackets or anything like that. So we'd just like to add something to kind of create that buffer from the outside to the inside. And then the extension for the screen room was just to create a little bit more outdoor living space that is free from bugs. So that's all. Everything else is perfect. Thanks.
All right. That's everything? Okay. Seeing there's anyone else for public comment? No one else in the room, so here for the record. But thank you. We'll close public comment and board.
I have one question for staff. Why do we say 10-foot minimum buffer?
The 10-foot minimum buffer is something that's often recommended, but I believe the work that that the property owners have been doing with Max Tostenson has established even a wider buffer than that they're looking to build. So the 10-foot minimum, again, is just kind of what we often will request, but I believe,
Okay,
It says
yeah,
35.
it's 35, yeah.
yeah, yep, okay, good. Yeah, 35 is better.
Yes, 10-foot minimum, but if the plan is 35, we of course would support 35.
Yeah, okay, great.
And if I may, I think we would appreciate feedback from the board if you want us to begin with a different to make that more consistent across these different shoreline buffers. 20 feet seems like a pretty reasonable this width as well.
Yeah, I mean, 20 feet, given that state statute requires 16 feet on agricultural drainage, seems like residential could be better. And effective distances, always based on soil type, slope, all those types of things. It's not just 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever. But yeah, more is always better.
Yep.
And it looks better. The bigger it is, the better it looks too. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree, because the presentation from North Shore Natives came by and they were talking about all the erosion control. I know the ski hill used them for the plant materials that they put in to protect their hillsides as well. Of course, that impacts Poplar River, and so the fact that you've gone to 35, we appreciate it, right? It helps everyone with the lake quality. I'm on Caribou Lake, and I know that the property owners have helped out quite a bit. Our lake is at or above all recommendations from the state in terms of what our lake should be at. So I would offer that, appreciate your contribution to that. Any further discussion?
I'm comfortable with it. I think it's a modest expansion that is reasonable, and it's really helpful when the applicant comes in with this work already done with soil and water, rather than sort of we hold you to, you will be going to soil and water after this
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah.
It just is it's a great good faith showing, so thank you for that.
We're pretty excited about
Agree.
it.
Any further discussion?
It's reasonable, yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the work you've already done.
Do we have a motion?
All motion to approve based on
Staff's
staff's
considerations.
considerations and
findings,
findings,
and their conditions.
and their conditions.
Everything they got. I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No opposed? Thank you. Carried unanimously. And variance is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We should have some time for some additional discussion, start talking about what you brought up, Neva, on the buffer. Just different things in that space, because we just planted a pollinator garden, because we didn't have the erosion problem to protect from. Our lot's native all the way down to the lake, except for where we pull the dock out. And it's one of those things where I'm in favor of us looking at it, but I think there's some things we need to go through in terms of discussing it to be able to come up with a recommendation, because wouldn't that go into the ordinance? Or could
Right,
it?
well, and I could give a more thoughtful presentation of the planning commission at a future meeting potentially, but one thing our office is actively working on is to secure grant funding to go through an update to our land use guide plan, or potentially even just a comprehensive plan, a little bit more robust of a planning document in our community. Our land use guide plan was last adopted or updated in 2016, which just so many things have changed since then.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot more broadband and electric in more remote areas of the county, and we're seeing a lot more requests to update and revamp old cabins. We're seeing more zoning changes. It'd be very healthy to go through and really evaluate our zoning patterns in the county relative to the permitted uses that we have, and see if we're checking all the boxes for our community's needs. And to that effect, updating our shoreline standards to get more effective standards in place would be welcomed by staff. We're not very clear about what enforcement looks like when people don't have a vegetative buffer and things like that. So there's really, really big questions. Our office has a whiteboard full of items that we would love to get addressed. But I think it needs to start from a solid planning effort, because it would be pretty inefficient for us to take every single one of these on at a time. My child would probably have gray hair before I would ever get done with that to-do list. So we're hoping to, like I said, get some grant funding, go through a real valuable community planning effort. We talk with folks all throughout the county that we know their input would really help shape our current land use practices and what this community wants to look like in 2050. So that's something that we really want to use as an initiative, because then we can get lots of public feedback on a lot of different topics and kind of shape that, those revisions kind of a little bit more holistically is the goal. So hopefully that can, I'll definitely present to the Planning Commission once we feel like we've got something a little bit more actionable.
Okay. And then the other one I'd like to get an update on is that aggregate survey.
Yep. So they're still doing the data collection. The product should be completed in 2027, most
Okay.
likely the early part of the summer is what it's sounding like. WDIO did a little coverage on that a couple of months ago.
Oh,
Our county
no, I
highway
missed it.
engineer got to be on the TV, and they interviewed one of the geologists that's working on that program. So yeah, it's exciting, and I think information like that would really feed into that comprehensive plan document to potentially even zone for areas that just should be gravel aggregate, places that are farther away from sensitive resources and better located for that. So
Thank you.
we're laying the groundwork, I think, right now with a lot of things.
Good connecting of the dots there. Thank you. All right, any other discussions? Adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
You did your first meeting. I stutter now, but otherwise, it's okay.